Hey story nerds, I'm Joanna White, author and book dragon. Around here we talk books, storycraft, and the messy author life. Ignore my backdrop. It's a little chaotic because I am actually in my bedroom because that's the only place I have room for this. So today, I am going to be taking you guys through the process as I plot my book. But we've talked about outlines and plotting before, or I have videos that I've meant to come out. But I'm specifically talking about when you take a whiteboard or a cork board. Recently, I've heard a lot of writers do like paper, and you tape the paper to the wall or poster board, and you use sticky notes to kind of plot out, or index cards to plot out specific scenes and themes and stuff. I've always wanted to do a physical, like, plot out your scene type of thing. They have digital versions of this. You can do this just yourself or Microsoft Word using bullet points. I've done that before, but there's something about the physicality of it that I've wanted to do for a long time. So the reason why I'm here, I don't know if I can actually reverse my camera because I'm filming in professional mode. So let me see if I can. This is our setup here. So this is the only place I have a desk big enough to like hold this. So this is the whiteboard. I have index cards, sticky notes, I have magnets and pens and stuff. So this is what I'm gonna be using to plot out my story. I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time talking about my story, but because I'm plotting out, okay, first of all, I have a military romantic suspense, Christian military romantic suspense series called the Hearts of Valor series, and it's a series of standalone romances where each romance is about a different Navy SEAL. There is an overarching plot line as these terrorists are coming after my characters, but there's other organizations and bad guys kind of within that. Book 5, I was writing and working on it and very inspired for it last year, 2025, and then I had surgery in October, and I couldn't sit at my desk, I couldn't write, so I had to take like several months off, and I fell out of it because it was a mystery. So this one has more like a direct crime mystery, trying to solve a crime, as opposed to like we know who's doing it, they're just trying to escape alive and we're falling in love while we do it kind of aspects. So we're trying to solve the mystery, and as a writer I have to plot out the mystery, but I forgot all the details, so I haven't gotten back into it. I reread it when I was like relaxing and stuff, but I didn't get back to working on it quickly after rereading it, so I forgot the details. So the last couple of days I really wanted to start working on this, so I re-skimmed through the book, and I took my phone, which is actually this phone, so I'm gonna have to get the details from that one, so I'll have to shut the light off in a minute. And I wrote in my notepad, I was using my Kindle book, skimming through it, writing down all of the details and plot threads. And that's what I'm going to be copying from my phone notes onto the sticky notes and index cards and plotting this all out. So it is book 5 in the Hearts of Valor series, The Ones to Protect. I haven't finished writing it yet, but I am trying to plot out the thing. So if you don't want spoilers and you don't want potential spoilers for the whole mystery, then you might not want to watch this. So watch at your own peril, I guess. But it will still be kind of fun for you guys if you do or don't care about spoilers, to see how it gets from this to the final book if you're still interested in reading that book when I publish it. It'll probably be several years before I get around to hiring my editor to edit it, because she's only on book 1. Her round 1, I haven't done my round 1 yet, so it'll be a while. You may forget all the details. But I encourage you to still watch this unless you really do care about spoilers. And again, details and stuff may change, and I'll try to keep it as vague as possible for you guys, but specific enough for my brain to know what I'm talking about. So, anyways, I'm gonna have to shut my phone light off, so we're gonna lose some of the light, because in my notepad app on my phone is where I have, so I will scroll if I can show you, let it get it to clear. You guys can kind of half see that. That's the bottom. So all the way up at the top, those are all the little things that I have to write. So I'm going to work on that real quick, and get started on this. And I will probably stop this and while I do that, because there's just going to be some tedious details and stuff. So yeah, I'll hit you guys up when I get all this written down. So also, fun fact, my sister and I just got through watching the Outlander finale. It's the series finale. I've been with Outlander for so many years, so you better believe that I am in an Outlander mood, and you better believe that I'm going to be listening to the Outlander album on Spotify. I usually do instrumental music when I'm trying to think creatively, so I mean, it's gonna be perfect. Let me see. I can't do too much, but just let me have you guys listen to the opening of this thing. Here we go. Yep. Alright, check in with you guys later. Hey guys. Okay, so I've got everything written down and I color coded things. So the purple is people missing, victims in the case. Blue is the case details, the crime details. Green is just people, characters, things people and characters that I need to keep track of. If they have a pink star next to their name, it means that character is a suspect. And then the pink, just regular, pink handwriting is things that I need to figure out in the story. So I think this worked really well, but I'm running out of space, so let me show you this mess. Remember, this will spoil the mystery, so this is your last chance to click away before I start spoiling things. So anyways, let's check this out. Alright, let me see if I can get a whole... There's the whole board. So it's a lot. Take it in. Okay, so I started up here in the middle. So Gideon Slater, White Shield is his wife's name. So Gideon is my main character. He's the sixth victim and he's missing. Spoiler alerts, by the way. His wife is Meadow White Shield and her brother Ethan is drunk. So that's just a side note. He has adopted parents, Charles and Donna Slater. That's their adopted parents. So they've had a break-in at the barn and nothing was stolen and they have dead cows. The police won't do anything. So Gideon's VCSI partner, I made up my own organization thing, went missing, so he's the seventh victim. So Gideon started working on the case. So the first victim, it was Kyle Six Feathers, he went missing, and then Erica, second missing, and then Zachary Johnson, Elizabeth Green was the seventh, the fourth victim, and then he came in on Amy, which was the fifth victim, and then he went missing, and then Shane went missing, and then Sean and Aaron were the eighth and ninth victims following Shane and Gideon's disappearance. And then in the story toward the end we have another kid, Todd One Feather, who goes missing. So let me see, I don't know what I did next. So this is not in order, but Gideon and Shane met at the White Buffalo Hotel and Casino at the edge of the reservation, and they end up researching another case outside of the res with Lacey Goodman, Cooper Goodman, her ex, and Tanner, their son. Another town... Nope, that's not it. Okay, Lacey saw Cooper with a kid, called the police, and then later the kid was found dead, and Cooper went missing. Lacey was put in WITSEC, and Gideon watched Tanner on the raid when Cooper showed up to try to kill him, and then they arrested Cooper. And so Tanner took Gideon to Lacey's WITSEC location, which was not supposed to, he's not supposed to know her location, so that was sketchy. And then that's when the last known location of Gideon, and that's when Gideon went missing. So officers that went with Shane, so Shane went to the WITSEC house after Gideon was missing, and then Shane went missing right after that, and the officers with Shane, along with the WITSEC officers, were found dead at Lacey's WITSEC apartment. Body cam footage of the raid with Cooper, I think, just arrived, so I need to do a scene where they watch the footage from that raid. And then Rhett is also waiting for cam footage from Lacey's WITSEC house. It's like a house across from her. So that's all the details there. So ash from Amy's hair was found from a crematorium. Yes, whatever, a cremation place. And then Gideon's truck was found near a gravel quarry. The gravel from the quarry was found in Zach's shoe. So Zach's shoe had gravel from a local gravel quarry where Gideon's truck was found, and it matched the tire tracks from that truck that was also at the crematorium, which is where ash was found in Amy's hair. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but at the gravel they found cam footage that showed Lacey and Tanner dropping Gideon's truck off there, so that's relevant. Ron Bluewater is the sheriff. His wife, Mary, is a teacher at the school. David is Aaron's older brother, and then Penny is Sean's cousin. So Aaron and Sean talked to someone in a black van outside the school. That's where they were last seen. The black van, West Thunder is the town drunk, and he is cousins to Esther. Esther Thunder, West's cousin, is the fiance of Zach, and she was one of the last people to talk to him. But West Thunder's black van was last seen at the school. It matches the one Sean and Aaron were talking to when they went missing. And West claimed it was stolen when he was interviewed, and then Aaron used to drink with West, and then Sean used to go to his parties. But David and Penny said that that's kind of like they tried to get these two guys on the right path, so that's not necessarily relevant. But Ron Bluewater, the sheriff, found an abandoned cattle barn on the wild land of the res that they're getting ready to raid, so I need to add some details there to connect to other people. A middle-aged woman's body was found at the edge of the res van. It doesn't match the res land. It doesn't match any other, she doesn't match the victim type here, but she was burned like the other victims. Ron, as I said, Ron Bluewater is the sheriff. Leonard Bluewater is his brother, and he's also the local pastor. So Leonard's daughter, Rachel, Ron's niece, Leonard's daughter, Rachel, is friends with Esther Thunder. Remember, Esther is Zachary's fiance, and Rachel was, Zach talked to Rachel. So Zach worked at this auto shop, and he was getting ready to go meet Esther, his fiance, for lunch when Rachel came up and talked to him. So Rachel was the last one to talk to Zach alive, and she was also the last one at the res ranch where Sean was supposedly going to go, and Rachel was supposedly volunteering at the ranch when the night that Sean went missing, the night that Sean and Aaron went missing, but she told Leonard that she was going to be with her new boyfriend. So Dylan, I was going to say, is he too obvious as a red herring? Esther was acting suspicious in her interview, so I had to question, is Esther framing him, or is he actually going to be the bad guy? I haven't decided if that's too obvious, because, this girl has an outsider boyfriend that is connected with all these people. That's a little obvious. Or is Esther going to be a twist and frame him? I haven't decided yet. What else we got? So I got the van. So Rhett's waiting for the footage. So my note to myself is, did something happen between Lacey and Cooper? Because basically, she, like I said, saw him with a kid, called the police on him, and then later on the kid was found dead, and then she was put into witness protection to protect from her. But now she and her son are the ones found. They were the last ones to see Gideon alive. They were the ones dropping off his van. So the question is, and they were also, another town had a serial killer case just like this, where it was kids from children all the way to young adults found missing, and they found a few leads, but they never did solve the case. And the sketch of the man and the woman that were seen approaching all the victims in that town for jobs that lured them away, the sketch of that man and woman actually looks like Lacey and Cooper. So my question is, did something happen between, they had this scheme going on where they'd lure poor people away on jobs, kids all the way up to young adults, to lure them away, to make them go missing, and then did something happen between them to make Lacey turn on him, which is why she was like, hey, he's seen with a kid. She called the police on him, gets him taken, and then gets herself put in WITSEC. Was there something to that? So also, note to myself, Shane's car and West Thunder's van is still missing, so there's a search out for them, so that's another detail I need to remember. And then woman who sings is Amy's mom here, so that was just another note. So other suspects, Kenneth Thompson gave Erica and Amy a ride home from the ranch 5 days ago, so that was a day before Erica went missing, and then 3 days before Amy went missing. So that's Amy, and where's Erica? So Kenneth is currently MIA, and then Peter Elk is a teacher at the school. He is known for his temper. His car was seen near the school, but it's an unknown make and model. And then the coach, Todd Onefeather, was staying late at the school last night, the night he went missing, to stay late with coach. And I think Peter Elk is the coach, so they need to bring him in to find out about that. So that's everything that I've got. So I think at this point I need to work backwards from what I know is happening and what actually took place, and kind of then spread out, because I need more. It feels like I am doing a great job of tying up all of this together and connecting everything. But the problem with that is, as good as that is, like, great, all the threads are connected and I know how they're connected. The problem with that is you need some red herring threads so that it's like the readers get lured aside. And I don't know if the Goodman situation, they are the last ones to see Gideon and all them alive, so I could either do where that case is connected with this one and somehow Rachel and or her boyfriend Dylan and or Elizabeth that was acting sus is connected to that, or if this is actually, the twist is that there's two separate cases, and Gideon, in trying to solve the reservation case, connected it with, got involved with the Goodman case, and that's what went him missing. But actually it is connected. So are the Goodmans, I feel like the Goodmans have to be a red herring instead of the actual bad guy. And I need to connect the other red herrings, which is Peter Elk and Kenneth Thompson and Wes Thunder there. And I also feel like Rachel is either involved in her boyfriend Dylan, and I need to decide, or are they being framed? And there's another twist there with some of these other characters that I can work with. And I kind of, yeah, I need to sit here and think for a minute and kind of brainstorm, and I need like another pen and another color and another thing, because I'm running out of room here on this whiteboard. So I got these magnet things, so I don't know if I want to find a poster board and transfer all of these sticky notes to the poster board, because they can be peeled off and moved around, and then I can use the magnets that I got with these index cards on this board as new details for the mystery moving forward, like plot points. I think that's what I may do. So I may try to find a poster board, and while I'm doing that, kind of think in my head, brainstorm, talk to myself out loud, and or pray, because that helps me and I'm not crazy, and go from there. So I will check in with you guys later. Sorry about the bad lighting. So I have tons of index cards here, and I need to I just started writing all the notes I could think of, and so I need to make sense of all of them and organize them. And I found a poster board, but it's very old, so we're not going to use that. And I'm going to do something that feels kind of violating, but I have this old Baby Yoda poster, Grogu poster, and I'm not using it anymore. And look at the back of this thing. This is perfect. So it's a little wrinkled, but it's about the same size. So I'm going to transfer all of these sticky notes to the back of this, and then use the magnets with these. Oh, that was like spoiling the whole plot. With these index cards that I've written all my notes to, like, move them around and magnetically put them on the board. So I can finish plotting my book. So I have most of the details here. I actually have all of the details here. The only thing I need is just how my characters figure out the truth. And that's literally all that I've got left to figure out, is how they find the truth. And like some of the extra details there. And then like the in-between scenes and the mix of all that. So I'm very hungry. Oh my gosh, this is like the exact same size. So I'm just going to do a transfer. And I will check in with you guys later. It didn't take me too long to transfer. It didn't take me too long to transfer this. So let's check. So this is the new, on the back of Grogu. And it's a little bit messier, but I know everything. So now I can use the plain whiteboard to get my story notes organized for the plot moving forward. So I'm just gonna take this, put it on top, and I'm gonna take all these story notes that I can't show you because spoilers, like actual spoilers. So everything that you just saw in this mystery, I was actually like not quite all of the details. So we got these magnets. Wow, they're really stuck on here. That's kind of the whole point. And I'm going to use, I have 20 of them, and I don't know how many notes that I have here. So we will find out. So I'm going to, of course, see if I can't try to find a way to get these open.
So as you can see, I'm trying to open the magnets and stuff, so I figured I would, my editing self kind of explain more. I feel like I didn't elaborate very much on it, but what I did with the index cards, I literally just started writing on them every detail I could possibly think of for the rest of the plot. And in that writing, I got kind of inspired, and my hand was actually really hurting by the time I got done writing all of those plot points on the index cards. So essentially the index cards, I didn't have an order. I just wrote down all of my random thoughts. It's brain dumping. I've talked about it before as a technique to get your thoughts out, or if you have writer's block. And so now I just have to I'm going to use these magnets to arrange them in a certain order to figure out the plot.
I don't want to scratch up the board, so I can't really show you guys what I'm doing. But basically, so obviously this is going to have the note on the other side, but it'll have the note. I put it down, and then I put magnet on it, which may not even need it because they'll sit there. But essentially that's what I'm going to do. And with all of these, so we will find out how many notes I have when I'm done with all of this. I didn't know I was still filming this whole time. Okay, so I actually have 1, 2, 3. I have 4 left over, but I doubled up with 1, 2, 3. I doubled up with 4 of them, so I actually had 20 notes even. This is crazy. And the reason why I doubled up was my brain got OCD. And I'm gonna have to cover these up because these are actual spoilers for like the ending. I know I was like, oh, you guys can know all the details. So I'm probably gonna put some stickers over these.
Stop, this is Editing Joanna here. This is your warning that this will spoil the rest of the book. I tried to put stickers to cover up individual like index cards and it looked awful and I can't get it right, and I don't want to not show you because the whole purpose of this is to show you how I use this method to plot my book. And it did actually give me the story beats that I needed, and I'm currently actually, like, as of the time of editing this, from the time that I recorded it about several weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I actually am very close to finishing the book, and I got done with the whole mystery part of it, kind of, sort of. I got the final twist to add in there. But these are the beats for the rest of the book, so this will spoil the ones to protect. So if you don't want spoilers, then click away or skip ahead. But you've been warned. If you're still here and you don't care about spoilers and you're just here to find out about the plotting method and stuff and like how I did it and everything, then go ahead and watch, but at your own peril. This is 100% like the entire book right here, like the rest of the story. So anyways, back to the video.
So I'll just put some stickers or something over the screen to kind of block that out. But essentially, I needed color-coded. I ended up color-coding my notes. So these are like facts and the truth and what the whole story is and the twist at the end. These are facts about the case that are true and found out as false leads. Also, wow, my hands are super dirty. That is insane. So these are all facts about the case that is found out as truth after a couple twists. These are facts about the case that are just part of the case, but also kind of leading into misleading things. And then pink and purple is misleading red herrings. So, I kind of have all those notes together, so I'm going to use these 4 now as, I'm going to figure out and take notes for how, I'm going to wash my hands first. This is like, look at this mess. So now I just have to take notes on how these are found out, because I have, like, my brain came up with the facts. I just need how those facts are found out, by my characters at certain plot points. So that's what I've got to figure out. And I may use sticky notes for those with color-coded stuff on this side. So I may take a mini break, and I need a snack. I'm absolutely starving. So yeah, I'm going to address that first because I'm getting really, like, actually shaky. So I will check in with you guys later. So I didn't get a snack because it's almost 10 o'clock and my husband hopefully should be home at 11:30. So if I eat something now, it'll, like, ruin my dinner, but I am shaky. So I grabbed some Mountain Dew to kind of get some sugar. I think I'm going to try dictating and, like, reading through these notes and talking out loud. And then I can use, because my voice app actually automatically transcribes the voice notes. And so I can then send the audio with the transcription to my computer and then read those notes back. So for the editing for the video, I can just mute it and make a montage out of me talking, and then that way you guys don't hear the spoilers. So yeah, I'm gonna do that now. So for the first few seconds of the montage, I left the audio on so you could basically hear me talking, but it's sped up really fast, so it's going to sound really high-pitched and squeaky, and then for the rest of it, I muted it. If you guys would like the full version of this part of me dictating the rest of the story with the spoilers, so this will spoil the entire ending of the book like the notes did, let me know in the comments below, and I will release that as a separate video as well, so you guys can kind of see how the exact, because I spent 20 minutes dictating this whole scene, so I'll talk about the methods behind it without spoiling the story for those of you who don't want spoilers. But if you want the full version, completely spoilers, let me know and I will release it if you guys want me to in the comments below. Okay, so what I started to do was just dictating. I was reading the notes that I had on the whiteboard, and then I was starting to dictate what those were, like, in more detail. And as I was talking, I was kind of talking to myself, like, I need to get a timeline together. And then so I started writing, okay, this happens first, and I just wrote down the random ideas in my head. I wrote down a plot that happened, like, in the middle, like, midpoint, not really midpoint climax, but, like, at the time that I was writing, like, what's going to happen pretty quickly. I wrote down one beat at the end, and then I started talking and dictating the entire story and what the plot beats that I could remember. They were in no particular order. Like I said, I wrote one that's going to happen at the early part of the timeline, and this is, again, the timeline for the end of the book, but the early part of the timeline of the ending of the book, and then one at the end, and then some in the middle. And I kept dictating and talking, and as I dictated and talked, as you can see, I have my green pen there. I started writing on more index cards, and then I started arranging them in order, so I knew, okay, this one's going to happen first, this one's going to happen very last, this one's going to go somewhere in the middle, and then, you know, maybe these in the middle are going to get arranged a little differently. And so that's kind of the gist of how I did this, where I took all of those notes that I had that I showed you guys, or for the guys who for those of you who didn't want spoilers, I showed them basically the index cards, and I color coded them by facts that are told that are just part of the mystery, and then facts that are like red herrings basically, and arranged them in those categories using the magnets as the color codes. The rest are written on the index cards, and so these were all written in green and arranged in the timeline order at the bottom of the index board, and then I was able to arrange them. And then when I had them arranged in order at the very end of this whole montage, I numbered them. So I think there was like 17, I want to say, different beats that I wrote here, and then those became the beats for the rest of the story. I eventually typed them up, listed them all out in order, and then I used those as my outline once I caught up to where this timeline begins. Again, I had to finish the mystery first and get to this part of the story, because this is like the kind of like a big part of the end, or the midpoint climax. I don't know what you would call it, but a big build up in the story basically. And then I would
I had them in my outline and I highlighted them as I wrote them. I would paste them in sometimes too and have it below me. But they were just one sentence like, this thing happens, and everything. So, and that's why they fit on the index card and everything. So that's pretty much the method that I used for this. And it genuinely did give me the plot for the rest of the book. So anyways, enjoy the rest of the montage.
So it's 16 and then 17, and then that kind of leads into the ending somehow, some way. Okay, all right, I think I got this. Okay, so stop the montage. So talking it out, I didn't dictate the notes directly, but talking it out loud really helped me. So I literally have a 19-minute recording, and the montage, you guys I didn't give you guys the details, but you guys saw me. I literally just sat here and talked. There was one part where I paused this, and I got up and walked and paced, and that was when there was one detail I couldn't figure out. And I have one note here that's written in pink, the rest are written in green, of something does blah blah blah, because I don't have that detail yet, so I have to find that detail, so that note is in pink. And that's when I got up, walked. I was like, don't get bogged down by one detail you don't know, just make a note of it and move on. So that's why I made that in pink, because I know, okay, that's one thing I got to figure out. So I'm gonna save this recording. The ones to protect, brainstorm chat. Okay. And then I kind of have the notes here, but I'm going to transcribe that just in case I need that. You never know. So again, I'll have to put a sticker to cover this up. But what I did was I started writing on index cards. And then I started with what I know the beats are going to be, which was kind of like the middle beats. And then I started just talking, and as I talked, I would write down details, and as I started to get some together, the order started coming to me, so then I started numbering them. And then for the ones I didn't know, I kind of filled everything in and kept numbering them until I got the whole thing laid out, and now I have the beats numbered for what happened. So essentially I started reading through the notes up at the top that have the magnets with them based on the color code. So I started with the facts that I knew, wrote those down, knew that was going to be kind of the end of the book, and then I started reading the facts that I knew that were going to lead to red herrings, which were the blue and the pink magnets. I started reading through those, and the purple magnets, and I started writing down the red herrings. I knew that had to happen first, leading into the yellow ones of actual facts found out, and then I was able to start numbering them because I know this is what happens first, and then second, and then third, and then fourth, and then so on. And then I filled in the details and kind of led into everything else. So let's
Editing self once again here. This is about to spoil everything again. I'm going to show you the board. So if you don't want spoilers for the rest of this book, then click away, skip to this time. I will put it on the screen for you guys, so you don't see the board and spoil the entire book and mystery. So you've been warned. Spoiler alerts. Only watch if you don't care about that and you're just here for the plotting method.
Take a look at the final. Again, I'll have to put a sticker here or something because this is all major spoilers. But like I said, those are the magnets, and then these are the beats. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way to 16 and 17 down here, which is the ending of the book and the major twist. So yeah, so I would say, honestly, this method of using like I said, I used 2 different things. So this whiteboard was one of them, and then the sticky notes and literally just the back of a poster that I'm not using anymore worked. You can use a cork board, you can use whatever you want. But using that method is what helped me to plot the rest of my book and figure out my mystery. So seeing it, there's something about seeing, especially for this mystery, there's something about seeing all of the mystery details laid out on the poster board, which, let me see if I can get that out here. This is probably really stupid. I'm gonna lose a sticky note. I just know it. Okay. Which, the sticky note idea came from the writing retreat I went to. I left early, but it's like the same thing. So seeing my mystery laid out for me in sticky notes completely helped me like think about the mystery as a whole and all the details with it. And that's what helped me start thinking about what I needed to do next. And I knew based on that, I could see visually, like, okay, the purple are the people, the victims, the green are the people. I have a few like red herrings that they're there, and I have the case details in blue. And so seeing it visually, I was like, okay, I need more details for these red herrings here. I need to lure readers aside. I need a few more details here. And then I knew I have the ending twist and the ending sequence and a plot beat that I know is going to be like the midpoint following the midpoint climax kind of situation. So I had those beats, and so all I had to do was come up with the beats for the red herrings and the actual mystery, kind of unveiling that, leading into the midpoint climax, the aftermath of that, and then the twist, and then the ending of the book, and that whole stuff. And so that gave me, seeing this visually is what gave me the beats for the rest of it. So all I had to do was just kind of take notes on what I needed. And to do that, it was helpful to just take notes on more mystery notes of like, this is what I need to have, which is where the magnets, color coding those came in handy. Since I wrote in a black pen, and at the time that I was just writing them down, I just brain dumped everything in my head onto the index cards with with a black pen. So I couldn't color code it at the time because I didn't know what kind of details it was going to be. So that's where the magnets came into play, because then I was like, as I had all 20 of them, all 20 of the index cards, I could then use the magnets as I read them to be like, okay, this is going to be this kind of detail, so this is the color that goes with that. This is a red herring, so this is the color that goes with that. These are the facts, so this goes with that color. And I was able to color code them afterwards using the magnets. So that's why the two different methods worked really well. And then from there, I was able to just start writing the remaining beats of the story and kind of plot the rest of the book. So yeah, overall, literally, I love this method. There's something like, it's kind of like the difference between ebook and paperback and having a physical book in your hand, or typing on the computer and writing by hand. Like, there's something about doing things old school with physical stuff in front of you that has this like almost a magic to it, not really literally magic, but has this special thing to it that works differently in your brain as opposed to just doing everything in the computer. Sure, I probably would have been stuck just sitting there staring at a blank computer screen, and it wouldn't have been as creative or fun as doing this method here. So I highly encourage you, if you are wanting to plot your story, whether it's a mystery or even just something else, or something simple like a rom-com or a fantasy, and you're wanting world building details, or a sci-fi or a mystery or a thriller, that kind of stuff, like, I highly suggest using this method because it works so well. And like I said, there's something about it that just opens up your creative mind, like that sitting in a computer or something else wouldn't do. And then being able to color code it, being able to move the sticky notes around. I'm surprised the sticky notes are still sticking because I've moved them half a gazillion times. And I was able to move like the victims, their families near each other. I was able to move like the crime details near the name of the person who is involved with that. I was able to scoot some of the ones to the side that I didn't have connected with anything. And that visually helped me because I'm like, oh, okay, I do need to connect that with everything else, because when you visualize it, I can see that that's a thread that literally isn't connected physically now in front of me, not just in the book, if that makes sense. And then toward the, like I said, the color coding worked wonderfully, for I could see visually, okay, this is what I've got for the plot. I have the red herrings, I have the facts, I have the end twist and what's really going to happen and what's really going on. Now I just need the beats to like bring that all together. And there was something about writing it out and just brain dumping into index cards where I just write an idea and then I move that index card and I'm writing another idea, and then I can like shuffle them around and move them and adjust them as I need to, and then number them afterwards where the beats are actually now in chronological order. That freed up my mind to think creatively. So this is a really good method for plotting your story. I highly recommend it. Have you guys done anything like this? Let me know in the comments below. I did hear from the writing retreat that their idea, what they were going to do is they go to a newspaper office and get the extra material paper left off of. I'm not brave enough to do that, so that's why I did poster board, cork board, the whiteboard, and the poster board, but you can use a cork board as well. Worked really well, and they had wall space, so their plan was to take the big sheets of paper and tape them to the wall, and then you can just be standing up and using sticky notes because you can move the sticky notes. So I highly recommend sticky notes and color-coded pens if you have details that you need to keep separated and divided by color. That method works really well. And sticky notes are so easy to move around. I was lucky to have the magnets as well because of the whiteboard, so that's another method too. And they said that the paper rolls up really easy and your sticky notes stay in place, so you can then take it home or move it around as you need to, and it doesn't get your wall dirty. Not dirty, but like your wall, like it doesn't like affect your wall or anything, and it's better than hunching over a table. This worked fine for me. I don't feel like I was hunching too much because I did a lot of the writing here, and then I was able to like stand up, and like I didn't really feel too hunchy. So this worked fine for me, but you could also hang this on the wall if you prefer to like stand up and do it. I don't have any wall space, so that's why I made space here on my desk. But yeah, have you done this method? Let me know in the comments below, like I said. And if you have, if you've used this method in different ways, let me know in the comments below. Even if you've done it digitally, I know Canva has the ability to do something like this too. I just, like I said, something physically about doing this helped my creativity this time, but that's not a bad idea either. So let me know in the comments below if you have any other tips or tricks, or if you've done this before. And if you haven't, give it a try and let me know what happens. And please be sure to like this video because this is really fun and I wanted to show you guys my process. And yeah, and I'm sorry I couldn't get a better angle as I did it. It probably would have been funner that way, but I don't have the hangover camera thingies, so I did what I could, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please like this video and subscribe. I do videos once a week. Yeah, and if you liked me plotting out my book using this method, then check out a video that I did talking about the outlining methods, like the 8 best ways to outline, going over the 8 ways to outline a novel, and all the details there, because that'll go through all the 8 main methods for outlining a book and which one is the best out of all of them and which one works the best. Which is helpful even if you're not a plotter. It's kind of like it goes over all the ones, the pros and cons of each one and which one's the best. So check that out. You don't want to miss it.